Alright, we are finally at water. First water card is Abzu. It is a 3-cost monster with 7k power when it becomes a forward. The power of forwards your opponent controls cannot be increased by summons or abilities. During your turn, Abzu also becomes a forward with 7k power. When he attacks, choose one forward, it loses 5k power until the end of the turn. This card's stupid. Not only is it a floodgate, it stops like any form of power like protection. And when it attacks, it's reducing something by 5. And then, like I said, if you want to play like a fire water variant of 13 or even a lightning water version of 13, have this and Sarah out. And this is going to be harder to destroy than Sarah because Sarah is an actual forward, but 3k to 5k reduction on the Sarah, and then when this thing attacks, another 5 reduction. The forward gets broken based off gaming mechanics, and then they can't increase it by summons or abilities, even with EX burst. So this card is insane. This card's a really good card. All right, we got Abzu Shot, 1-drop monster. It is, you can dull it, discard 1 water card, choose 1 forward, it loses 1k power until the end of the turn. And then you can pay 1 water CP, put it into the break zone, discard, choose 1 for your opponent control, it loses all its abilities until the end of the turn. So we got another Kukulane, and then we have another card that reduces power. Yeah, they gave 7 everything. They gave 7 everything to essentially be every other deck without even having to flinch. And that's great. And I just hope they do that with every other deck, so it's an even playing field, because 7 right now, if somebody takes the time to sit down and utilize all these cards, 7's pretty unstoppable if you think about it. Because 7 has a loopable cloud, a loopable destruction with the dull cards. It has the Fiats to dull and freeze and discard your hand. It has the Turks to dull cards and shoot cards for damage. You got not Shimmer, what's his name, Rufus, who can essentially do all of those things by himself. And you have Cisne that can activate herself and keep attacking as long as the Turk is attacking. You got Tifa in all her different versions. You got the freaking Barrett. I mean, they gave 7 everything. So 7, I think at this point, has every utility that it could ever need to be great. And not to mention, you still got the Yuffie. That's probably the greatest win card of all time right now. That card is just insane. Doom of the Living is just one of the craziest abilities I've ever read in a card in any game I've ever played. All right, we got Kermit the Frog. Famfrit the Darkening Cloud is a 4-drop summon. Before paying the cost to cast him, you can remove a water backup you control from the game, reduce the cost by 2. Choose 1 auto ability triggered from a forward, put the forward into the break zone, draw a card. So you got Water Tarasu again. This one only targets forwards, but I mean, if you remove a water forward and then activate this, not only do you get rid of their forward, it doesn't break it, it sends it, and you get to draw a card. So it's like you're essentially paying this for 2. And if you I'm not gonna say when they give us the ability to bring things back from removed from the game, cards like this are gonna be so helpful, because sending something from the game to this banishment like state and then being able to bring it back and have stuff like this. And if you remember in the ice, I talked about Lean, but her name's probably Lynn. She can just get this back, banish it, remove it from the game, and you can just do this again, and you can have like an Water Tarasu on standby. So these are like combo type strategies I've been seeing as I've been going over these cards with you guys. So don't sleep on these cards. Get your full arts. If you don't want your full arts, send them to me. I'll buy them from $2. Cagnazo. I already went over this in the whole squad fresh video when they dropped them, so I'm not gonna take your time doing this again. But this essentially just shoots things back to your hand. The art's great, but he is ugly. Oh my goodness. Quacho Queen. 2-drop backup. Dull her. Choose one category World of Final Fantasy forward. It gains 1,000 power until the end of the turn. Nothing crazy here. I do want to build a World of Final Fantasy deck, but I need to buy the Legend Reigns. If you got some and you trying to let them go, like holler at me. We can come up with some kind of deal. I got a whole bunch of cards. I got Lorcana, Yu-Gi-Oh. I got a bunch of cards from Opus 1 all the way to 24. So yeah, this card's okay. I'm sure when more cards come out for World of Final Fantasy and things can mesh and collide and, you know, make things work, I think this deck will be pretty solid. The Kraken. This looks like it's going to be similar to Salamander. 4-drop forward, 8k power. The cost required to cast your summons or monsters is reduced by 1. What? It cannot become 0. When Kraken enters the field, choose one backup your opponent controls. Remove it from the game as long as Kraken is on the field. What is this? What kind of demon is this? Monsters and summons are reduced by 1. Why? Bro, which of the fans is finna be so stupid with this card? And then it removes a backup and as long as it's on the field. So that auto ability triggers, you don't stop it, you don't really have to worry about that. Water has no problem protecting itself. And then this makes it to where Blue Goo becomes 1, Tomberry becomes 1. Even big monsters that may have been a 3 that you wanted to play now become a 2. 5s become 4s, 4s become 3s, blah 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 blah. Not to mention that, but you also have Mirror. So if you make a water lightning deck with monsters and somehow slide in the Monad, you got not only Monad, you got Kraken, you got Witch of the Fens, and you got Mirror. If you have that lineup on the field, you should never lose. Well, it's debatable, but that's insane. That is horrific how strong this card is. That is wild. This card is fantastic. All right, it's loading. There we go. Cloud of Darkness. 5-drop, 8k forward. When she enters the field, your opponent selects up to 2 forwards they control. Then put all the forwards your opponent controls, other than the selected forwards, into the break zone. Wow. This is strong too, because it makes your opponent choose what they're going to keep and what they're going to send. And it doesn't break anything, and you don't choose anything. This is like the most sadistic card you could play, and she is very BDSM dressed. It's very beautiful, very seductive, but that card is just that's a powerful card, especially if they have like the Warrior Light setup. Sure, you better have the Amaterasu, because if you don't, like, the vast majority of your board is going away. And I know that you don't really need that for most things, because backups are Warrior Lights as well. But this is very useful, and once again, it's in water. Corsair. 2-drop forward, 3k power. When it enters the field, choose one forward of cost 2 or less your opponent controls. Return it to their hand. When it enters the field from the break zone, draw a card. Mm, that draw card part is pretty good, I suppose. Um, and the bouncing is pretty good. I mean, it's one of those two costs, so it's not like high risk, high reward. It's kind of like low risk, high reward as long as you just play it during the right time. So yeah, I mean, I'm digging it. It's not strong by any means, but I feel like it would get a threat out of the way if you needed it to be out of the way. White Mage, 3-drop backup. When White Mage enters the field, select one of the two following actions. Choose one forward of cost 1 in your break zone, add it to your hand, draw 1 card. Yeah, this is good recursion for like Vikings and stuff like that. So yeah, I feel like this is good for what it is. Cecil or Cecil, 5-drop, 9k forward. If a forward you control is dealt damage by your opponent's abilities, reduce the damage by 2k instead. I don't really see anybody playing this, just because he costs 5 and he doesn't really do anything. Sure, he does damage reduction by 2k, but it's just for abilities. I feel like it could have been way more than what it was, way more than it is, but hey, it's here, it's a card, we'll take it. If we use it, we do. If we don't, we don't. We still got it. Titus, this should have been a full art, man. Why y'all do this to me? I guess because it's in a mono card and they typically don't make those full arts, but this would have been a very beautiful full art. Let's see what he says. 5-drop, 9k power. When Titus enters the field, you may return 1 backup you control to its owner's hand. If you do so, during this turn, the cost required to cast your next Final Fantasy X character is reduced by 3. When Titus or a category 10 character enters your field, choose one forward your opponent controls, it loses 4k power to the end of the turn. So the fact that he can bounce a backup and then play a character for -3 and it can be reduced to 0, the cast count still counts as a cast, even though there's no really wind involved here. But when he enters the field, something is minus by 4k, and then when another 10 character enters the field, something else is reduced by 4k, and this is not once per turn. So if you got a handful of cards that you can just loop around and keep playing, even monsters like Evray costs 1, so minus 4k. He hits the field, minus 4k. Play Yuna, minus 4k. Yuna gets back Waka, minus 4k, minus 4k. Play the Yuna that searches a Gold Wing for free because it gets minus by 3. That's 4 for Titus, 4 for Yuna. Use Yuna's ability to play something, play a Gold Wing that like searches or plays another Gold Wing. That's 4, 8, 12, 16 that you've already reduced something by. Yeah, this Titus is good, and this Titus is probably going to be expensive as crap as well. It's probably not going to be as high as the Limit Break Titus because this one is in the deck and it's not pullable whenever you need it at any situation. But the fact that he does so much for his people, it's probably going to be a $10 non-foil and probably $15, $20 foil. Dr. Sid. He is a 4-drop, 8k forward. You can only pay with water CP to cast him. When Dr. Sid enters the field, choose one forward of cost 4 or less your opponent controls. Put it at the bottom of their owner's deck. When a forward your opponent control leaves the field, draw 1 card. Then discard 1 card. I wish the discard wasn't there. This only happens once per turn anyway. Yeah, I really wish the discard wasn't there. But maybe you have excuse me, like a light or dark card you need to get rid of, and this may be the answer to that. So it's maybe not too bad, or maybe there's something you can discard that can be bounced back to the field by another effect. So maybe it's not too bad. Art's on fleek, he's on fleek, effects all right. All around good card. Final Fantasy 12. So yeah, I'm digging it. I can't think of any combos or any useful text right now, but over the course of me staring at cards for like 3 hours a day, I'm pretty sure I'll figure out something. Broden, 3 drop backup. Goodness. Broden does not activate during your active phase. When he enters the field, draw 2 cards. So this reminds me of the Reeve that when he enters the field, he can grab a 2 drop forward from the break zone and play onto the field, but he doesn't activate. There is, I mean, this card's okay. I mean, it just doesn't do anything after it hits the field. And even if you activate it yourself, it won't activate after that if you use it. So I guess this is one of those ones that you could get rid of to play Famfrit for 2 less, because you're getting the 2 cards anyway and you just play another one down the line. So maybe that's what it's for, stuff like that, because you can't really use it after you play it. I mean, I guess that's my only guess right now. I obviously have to test around with some things and see what's what before I can actually give a definitive answer. But this is, initial thoughts. Porum, the girl, 2 drop backup. She can pay 1 CP of any element, dole herself, discard 1 card to draw a card, and then she can just dole herself, discard Palom, draw 2 cards, and then discard 1 card. So she's just a drawer deck thinner. So those are generally good in any card game, because the more cards you see, the more chances you have at actually winning a game. Matt, he is a soldier, 5k forward with a 2-drop cost. He has first strike, so you don't have to worry about Sephiroth giving it to him. The job soldier, other than Matt you control game, this character cannot be chosen by your opponent's abilities. Duel 1 active job soldier, choose 1 forward, it loses 2k power to the end of the turn. So with Sephiroth giving them first strike, he protects them, Lucia activates them, what's his name, Angeal the backup lets them have an additional 2 to 3k damage when they do damage, I believe. Yeah, soldiers are shaping up to be a pretty phenomenal deck, and I see soldiers being one of the top performing decks this go around, especially if they get another round of support in Gunslinger of the Abyss, Opus 26. But we will see. Maya, she does not. Another card that should have had a full art. This is just very sexy character. 3-drop, 7k forward. When she enters the field, you may remove 1 category Mobius card in your break zone from the game. When you do so, your opponent selects 1 forward they control, put it into the break zone. Dole herself, remove 1 category Mobius card in your break zone from the game. During this turn, the cost to cast your next summon is reduced by 1. It cannot become 0. So abilities like that do stack. So if you have one that says all water summons are reduced by 1, and then you do this and then it reduces it by 2 technically, so this is good. I don't really know much about Mobius. I mean, I know there's a bunch of Mobius cards. I just don't know like what exactly they're supposed to do with each other to make this strong, cohesive deck. But I'm gonna figure it out, and when I figure it out, I'll make a video about it and bring it to you for your consumption. Rosa. She is a 5k forward with 4-drop EX burst. When she enters the field, you may search for 1 card named Cecil, or Theodore and add it to your hand. Her special is Shell. Pitch a copy of herself, pay 1 water CP until the end of the turn. Rosa and the card named Cecil, and Theodore you control gain. This character cannot be chosen by your opponent's summons or abilities. I mean, this is okay. There's definitely better Rosas. She's EX burst, so that helps. I do like that they went with this updated art with all these 4 characters. I mean, I guess that makes sense that she's so weak because she's a white mage, and white mages typically don't have very high defense. They're just very strong with the arts. I see this being useful, but I also don't know many people that just play a category 4 deck. So yeah, I mean, I if I ever build a 4 deck, I guess I'll figure it out. But as of right now, I'm not seeing the goal.